What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to the Cosmic Wonder, where we talk all things Marvel and MCU. I'm your host, Warren Thompson, and today we have some pretty exciting news for those Scarlet Witch fans out there, for those Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings fans out there, and the Brooklyn Nine-Nine fans out there. As weird as that sounds, but it'll all make sense in just a bit. It looks like we are getting the Scarlet Witch back in the MCU. It could be as early on as next year. If you were thinking that the Scarlet Witch died at the end of Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness, that does not appear to be the case as expected by many people. And now it looks like she's going to be returning in some other MCU projects and then of course her own MCU project relatively soon. And yesterday the news broke that a Wonder Man series is actively in development over at Marvel Studios for Disney+, with Shang-Chi director Destin Daniel Cretton and Community and Brooklyn Nine-Nine scribe Andrew Guest. These two are going to be handling the Wonder Man series, and we have a little bit of new information about that today. And speaking of Shang-Chi, Simu Liu and Chloe Bennett were recently spotted together. They both posted pictures of themselves on Instagram. Of course, Chloe plays Daisy Johnson, aka Quake, in Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., and you have to wonder if something is going on here. Could a crossover be happening soon, or is this just simply the two of them hanging out? A lot to talk about today, so let's dive into it. And of course, if you're new, be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. So let's first start off by talking about the Scarlet Witch, because she seems to be a huge fan favorite right now. I love her myself. And a lot of people were wondering if she was going to be returning to the MCU, if she was really dead at the end of Multiverse of Madness. And for those who believed that she wasn't dead, the big question is, when she returns, is she going to be good or is she going to be evil? We'll tackle that question in just a bit. But recently, Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness writer Michael Waldron came out and said that the ending is kind of left open for your own interpretation. So he pretty much neither confirmed or denied that the Scarlet Witch was dead, but of course, if they're all not talking about the end of Elizabeth Olsen playing the Scarlet Witch and the Scarlet Witch being done, that pretty much means she's alive. And besides, the Scarlet Witch took on the entire Illuminati. I'm pretty sure she can handle some rocks falling on top of her. So I've been saying that of course she is not dead. And ever since the movie came out, a bunch of insiders have been talking about when she's going to appear next, confirming that she is indeed still alive. And today we have a report from insider Daniel RPK, who has a great track record with his scoops, who says not only did Wanda survive the events of Multiverse of Madness, but she'll be back for one of the MCU's upcoming projects filming next year. Now, like you heard, a Wonder Man Disney Plus show is being developed right now by Marvel Studios, and Grace Randolph says that she hears that Wonder Man on Disney Plus is going to be a comedy, and that Wanda is being considered for the show. And she's even kind of comparing it, saying that it's going to be kind of like a Wandavision season 2. And this kind of makes sense if you consider the history between the Scarlet Witch, Vision, and Wonder Man. So Wonder Man's real name is Simon Williams, and in the comics, Vision's brainwaves are actually created from Simon Williams's brainwaves. Simon Williams's brainwaves were the template for creating Visions. And Wanda, Vision, and Wonder Man are kind of in a little bit of a love triangle in the comics. In the comics, they hint that the only reason Vision really likes Wanda is because Simon liked Wanda, and now they have the same brainwaves. But Simon Williams never told Wanda this. It's unclear if he was even aware of it at the time. But once when Wanda and Vision actually get together, Wonder Man realizes that he has feelings for Wanda and is pretty bummed out about it. Now, there's a lot to the story, but basically, for the point of this Wonder Man series and the Scarlet Witch returning in the MCU, what happens is we get White Vision, and he loses all of his emotions. So Wanda goes to Wonder Man and asks him if he could lend his brainwaves again to give Vision his emotions again, in which he actually says no, because he has feelings for Wanda and doesn't want her to be with Vision. However, eventually he does cave and he says okay, but White Vision does not want them. He says, I have to go out and I have to discover my emotions for myself and get my own personality, not your personality. So he leaves. And eventually, when he leaves, Wonder Man and Wanda get together. And it's also very important to note that in the comics, Wonder Man dies, but Wanda actually resurrects him in his ionic form. This is pretty much exactly what we saw in Wandavision. Wanda resurrected Vision in kind of an ionic form as well. because obviously the Vision wasn't permanent and could not live outside of the bubble that Wanda created, just like her kids. However, we did have White Vision, or Spectral Vision as some people call him. He appeared at the end of WandaVision, and he left, and he kind of left to really discover who exactly he was after the real Vision, our Vision, kind of made him see everything that had happened to him. So I'm actually kind of expecting the Scarlet Witch to show up in the series now, since it's being rumored, and I would not be surprised in the slightest if Vision returned as well. Now, the end of WandaVision obviously set up the return for Spectral Vision. We just didn't know when he was going to return, but this makes a lot of sense. And like I just mentioned, with the whole history of the Scarlet Witch and Wonder Man, it would make sense for the Scarlet Witch to show up as well. Perhaps these two will have a love interest in the MCU. After all, Wanda did a lot to look for her kids, however, she didn't really do anything to look for Vision, or at least try to resurrect him and restore his memories in some type of android. I think Vision was mentioned maybe twice in Multiverse of Madness. Could that be because there's about to be a whole storyline with Wonder Man? Now, granted, Vision is not made the same way in the MCU as he is created in the comics. So in the MCU, he should not have the brainwaves of Simon Williams. But this show, Wonder Man, is actually supposed to be a comedy. In fact, some new information today says that it could be a Hollywood satire. According to Joe Otterson, a writer at Variety, he said on Twitter, "I have also heard that this show could be a Hollywood satire, but that is not 100% confirmed. It would make sense given Wonder Man's backstory as an actor and stuntman in the comics. And I actually think that this would be pretty cool. We could have a superhero, or at least an enhanced individual in the MCU who uses his powers to actually become famous, to be a famous actor. Kind of like Kingo, although I'm not really sure how much Kingo's powers helped him become famous. It was pretty much his immortality that helped him become famous just over the years. So this would be different. This would be somebody with actual superpowers using those to his advantage to get on screen as an actor. I think if they do go the comedy route, it would also be pretty funny to kind of break the fourth wall. Like, have Simon Williams go audition for a Marvel movie and Kevin Feige's there, and maybe some old X-Men actors like Hugh Jackman. I just think it would be really fun, and I think that this could be done extremely well. And I'm really hoping that the Scarlet Witch does return, and maybe even Vision as well, because this could be a pretty funny comedy if you have like this little bit of a love triangle thing here. That way it's not so serious, it's not that heavy, which I think would be nice considering how heavy Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness was. And if Wanda is going to come back and try to be a hero again, it would make sense that she would come back for something that's a little bit lighthearted, and then work up to, hey, you kind of did some stuff, but the Avengers kind of need you right now, and it seems like you're okay. After all, she didn't affect our universe too much, at least not that we know of yet. She did kill a bunch of sorcerers, which of course is horrible, but she didn't destroy any cities, civilians weren't really affected, and nobody really saw what she did except for all of the people at the Carmitage. And of course, they're all going to be super pissed about it, and who knows what Wong's going to say, but I'm assuming that once the next big, huge threat comes, they're going to want Wanda on their side. And there's been a lot of talk about the Scarlet Witch coming back for a true solo Scarlet Witch film. Not a Doctor Strange and the Scarlet Witch film, but a Scarlet Witch film. I really hope that happens, and it's nice to know that the Scarlet Witch should be returning before then. So let me know your thoughts about this in the comments down below. Don't forget to like the video and subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest videos. For live updates, you can follow me on Instagram and Twitter. And as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.